I think there's a low-hanging tree on the exit road there, which does tend to cause high equipment to behave inappropriately, like bounce around a lot. So things like the folding butterfly mowers, this thing because I've got the wide spreader kit on it, that sort of thing, they all seem to have issues. But so long as you know it, and basically you don't want to be driving right up against the verge like I am now. You have to swing a little bit wide and then back in again as you're manoeuvring out of just down towards the roundabout, coming away from the store. I think things like potato harvesting equipment and sugar beet harvesting equipment has been an issue for me. Suppose with all the spreading I'm doing, I could spray for weeds on the fields that currently have, well, might not be a brilliant idea. I was thinking I could spray for weeds on the fields that I've planted full of oilseed radish, but then I think if I plough the oilseed radish in, I get a certain amount of nitrogen added to the field, but I also reset the no weeds because you sprayed it deal. I could spray the clover fields, could spray the grass fields, but it might not work on the grass fields because they're ready to harvest. The only fields we have with grass in are the sheep fields, which I don't intend to cut. Technically I could, I guess. And we are struggling. Oh yeah! Okay, where are we going to stick the truck? I think I'll stick him round the back. So we will stop here, jump out, and because I now don't need the truck until we are ready, field 5 is ready. So I'm just going to park us here. Sticky drive, jump out. Okay. So this tractor will now probably struggle a little bit in these top fields because they're not exactly flat. Although that said, I mean, we did this field with a fair amount of product in the back, just not completely full. We are having issues. Let's head across the field. Make like a boat. There we go. Okay, so now we have actually, oops, hit the gate. Analyze this field. You'll see the yellows and the greens are much brighter than the adjacent fields. Unfold when you feel like it. Kind of thinking I'm going to need to put lime on this side of the field as well, just because of this hedge to the left is not a solid obstacle, and in all likelihood our spreader is just going to drive straight into that field and try and spread more lime. Now, point one, it doesn't need it, and point two, I don't want it to. Okay, and you can go on a worker. And you can start your engine. Okay, interesting. Lower that, turn it on. Turn it on and lower that. Okay, and let's drive forwards. Forwards is a good thing to do. Interesting. So yes, we are mixing clover and hay in the same swath, or clover and grass, should I say. I don't know that that's too big of a deal for us, since, to be fair, we are just making silage out of all of it. So it doesn't matter if I end up with a grass silage bale or a clover silage bale. It might make a difference spending wise, or yeah, sorry, and final payment wise. It might be, the grass silage may be worth less than the clover silage, but they're all going to take as long as each other to ferment. And I just hit the edge of the map, and it's not going to let me off. Yes, it is. Okay. So we've done the island. Looks like a little bit of a problem along the top here. So we'll finish that off. We'll run down. What are we looking at? The north edge of the field, and then finish off the entrance. And that will be good and done. Yeah. Then we can go get our 940 and start the baling, which again is another manual task, although not quite as bad as all the other ones that we have to do. Helper G has completed their task. Okay, that'll be the spreader. Of course, the other thing I mentioned was we're going to need to bring the Valtra down here and scan this field. Alright, we'll call that good. Take this back up to the yard. So, right, field 5 needs analysis. Field 9 and 11 need the rest of their lime. And so I think I'll finish off the lime, because it's a completed task. Kind of like we've taken all the bales from the top field down to the BGA. That task is complete. So I kind of like to round things off with, not having things pending. We're still going to have to bale field 5. We're going to have to wrap field 5. We're going to have to get the stuff off the field. So lots of work to do on field 5, but these top fields are nearly complete. So I think I'd like to finish that particular task off I'm going to park this in here to the left, so we're not blocking the entrance and we still have clearance for anybody else to get in. You're needed in field 5. You're needed in field 5. You're not. You're not. You're not needed anywhere. You're not needed anywhere. Need you in a minute. You're next. Okay. So I think, yeah, for the most part, this job is all going to be manual. Like I said, this tractor not too happy with the overfilled spreader and all the hills around here. I'm not sure many of our tractors will be happy with the hills around here, but I believe probably the 940 would work with this better, but again, bailing on these hills. The case and this class are still just a little bit on the light side to run that baler. Field 5, I think this 800 could cope with the baler, no problems, because Field 5 doesn't have any hills, or at least nothing significant that's going to cause it to struggle. But the top end of the farm, yeah, it's always a struggle for everything. And one of the options I was considering was getting maybe a Zerion 3000 rather than the 800. But that more goes to what mods or DLC have I paid for and what am I actually using on this farm. And I really haven't used any of the Platinum DLC tractors. Obviously we've got the telehandler, we've got, what else do we have? I haven't used the Taurian. Don't recall using the Lexion either. But we did use a Lexion on, what was it? Lawfolds for the longest of times. I think I've completely hosed this up. Okay. Again, I'm going to blame me not taking into account the steering axle on the spreader. All right, that's better. Now the other thing I was considering with Farm Sim 22, we have olives and grapes. Grapes are grown in the UK. Olives, not so much. That's more a Mediterranean thing. So, yeah, I can see the point of doing, say, an Italian farm, just because you can have olive groves, which you wouldn't have in the UK. But I can branch out into grapes if I want to. It's not a big thing, but it is something that is done. Obviously, cotton in either place, not a thing. So if I do an American map, cotton's more of a thing that happens there. There was an earlier, was it Brazilian map someone did? I did take a look at it, but it was sort of, it wasn't an inspiration to me, so, but that would have been, yeah, I can do everything, because they do cotton, they do sugar cane, I think they even do sugar beets in some areas of Brazil. So it was a sort of, you could get away with doing pretty much any crop you wanted on that map, and it being fairly realistic if you didn't worry too much about what region you were pretending to play in. Yeah, I think at the moment Calmsden is probably top of my lists, but I haven't taken a big look at some of the other UK maps. And no matter which map I pick, if it's UK, I will be modding the growth calendar. And it's basically the growth calendar which is now embedded in the Calmsden farm map, as opposed to having to put it in yourself. I believe Oxygen David said he was updating his high-resolution textures for Calmsden this weekend, so probably Monday we'll be able to download those refreshed, which does make the map even nicer and actually play smoother, at least on my machine. I did find base map was very juddery on my machine when I, if I switched from this view to this view, it wasn't instant. You travelled a good couple of 100 yards before the camera resolved in cab. Now once you'd done it once, it was fine, but that first transition, there was a big delay. So that was kind of an issue for me. But as soon as I switched to the high resolution textures, that just went away. Immediate transition. Plus he's got stars at night, apparently. I haven't looked, but that would also be a plus point. Oh, there goes the Spitfires. Let's fold this up again. This is the last, that's the last field. We're done liming, yay. Well, kinda. We now have to lime field 5. Although we won't get to that this session. What are we at? We're at 11 o'clock real time. So I think I'll go hook the case up to the sprayer. Get to use all our tractors again. And set him loose up here, see how far he gets with the spray. And turn that off. There we go. We got it covered. And that's looking a very nice bright yellow and green, which should indicate that we have excellent pH values for this field. Oh, it's perfect. Nitrogen, not so. Hang on, nitrogen is 200 out of 40. What? Are we completely hosed for Clover? Well, it could be that the sprayer won't work on these fields. $200 out of 40. Oh my goodness. That's a complete disaster. I want to look at the nitrogen map. $200, $180, $160, $140, $120. No. Okay. So 8 and 11 are sufficiently bad, but for some reason 9 and this cow pasture, I need lower nitrogen levels for Clover, and it's not happening. So that's gonna be a problem. Anyway. Oh, where am I going to put you? I guess you can go on the left in front of the machinery shed. Boop. Okay, case. Ugh. All right. Let's see what we can spray around. And see if we've got any liquid fertilizer in this thing. That is fertilizer, okay. That's not a lot. Actually, that's more than I thought we had.
Hello again.
Right. Okay, gonna take this up to this field. We'll see how much of the field we are able to spray. But I'm thinking nothing's gonna happen down here. Okay, stop. You want automatic or no, you're on minimum. Auto. And no, as expected, we are not spraying anything on that field. Oh, now there was 2 late in the week mods in Farm Sim 22 for, I believe, this sprayer and its 3-point mounted cousin. Oh, that sucks. Okay, we'll fold it all up. And what that's done is to add the spot spray crop sensors to the as an option to these sprayers. So with precision farming, we did get the John Deere comes with the ability to spot spray herbicide, and now this piece of kit does too. Okay, nothing going there. We're going to get one more cut out of field 8, and then we're going to have the interesting. Then we're going to have to reanalyze this field as well. Maybe I should have run round here with the soil analysis tool. save having to do it during winter. It probably doesn't make a big difference. Okay, so at the very least we're going to have these two fields are going to be ideal. pH and nitrogen. There's sufficient nitrogen at the top end here. Oh, this is going to be a little bit more manual than I expected it to be. Okay. But that would, you know, putting the lime down and putting the fertilizer on at least 8 and 11 is going to improve the yield on these two fields, even if there's nothing I can do about 9 or the cow pasture. Yeah, I know. The problem with the, you know, especially with field 9, is it's really not a good field to do a cereal crop. I mean, typically something like corn or what have you would work really well in that, and would be a good deal for that field. The problem is you can't swing a cat in that field. Getting my harvester in there is just not going to happen. Now, rest of my fields I am rotating crops like crazy, so we're always getting the ideal level. Plus, most of the crops leach nitrogen when you harvest them, so there's always a drop of 40 to 60 points when you harvest. Sunflowers is a great crop. No, sunflowers is not a great crop because that's also a low nitrogen crop. But something like wheat, barley, oats, corn, they all need nitrogen up in the sort of the 180, 160 level, even 200 at points, and so that would sort those two fields out. But like I said, those fields are not particularly harvester friendly, at least not big harvester friendly.
Can I get the keys for the garage?
Yeah.
Do I have to charge those batteries?
The batteries are charged. So yeah, I mean something like that would work in those fields, but not the size of harvesters we've got with like 35-foot headers. We'd never get clearance into the field to get it started. So